This morning. We are still grateful to God that we have only registered one death. We do have two people that have recovered with the treatment that has been offered on the market here. Later on, we'll also be connecting to another region that is a transport and business corridor between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, to also understand how are they scaling rightly in order to curb Ebola and deal with it with an iron hand, so that is not an outbreak for us here in Uganda, as is the case in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, that being done and dusted, we switch up and turn to your pension, your money, your saving, and how it is intended to actually give you the future that you dream of, but you must make that investment today if that dream is to become a reality. So in our Kickstarter, we're focusing on your pension, your security, and your future, and what the new public service pension fund particularly means for you, it means for me. And so as we pick up this conversation, imagine working for your country for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Some of you are complaining that some people have been in these offices since 1900. Well, as a teacher, as a nurse, as a police officer, as an administrator, as a civil servant, and then reaching that time where they tell you you've reached that age where we have to now give you retirement. We have to retire you and allow you to go and enjoy your life. How much would you receive at that time when they give you that news that you must, put your tools down? And then there's a question whether the system will remain sustainable for future generations. So this is the reality government is saying it is seeking to change through the introduction of what is known as the Public Service Pension Fund. This is a major reform that is expected to take effect this July 2026, and supporters are saying that the new fund is going to be providing greater retirement security, improving transparency, and creating a more sustainable pension system. But of course, there's a question of what exactly it is, what exactly it is changing, and how workers will actually contribute from their salaries into the fund, and what happens to the current pensioners. So all those questions, we're going to be unpacking them, looking at the reform and what it means for every public officer as well as their family and the generations to come. So joining me is the Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Public Service, and that is Catherine Bitarakwate, who is seated here with us to help us understand this pension. What is it? What is it intended to serve? What are the solutions it is intended to bring on board? And the peace of mind it should be giving to you as you are entering public service, as you're continuing to serve in public service, and as you will be ending your service at any one time X. Good morning to you, Catherine.
Good morning. How are you?
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritties. A Public Service Pension Fund, if someone is hearing it for the first time, they would be wondering what it is all about. Could you give us the nitty-gritties of what the fund is about and what it was intended to serve?
The Public Service Pension Fund is a statutory agency of government established by the Public Service Pension Fund Act 2025. This is an agency that is going to manage retirement benefits of Ugandans, forming them into a contributory scheme instead of the non-contributory scheme. By contributory scheme, we mean that civil servants are going to save 5% and government is going to save 10% of their salary monthly, and this money is going to be invested so that we can grow our money. It is a fund that is going to affect those who are 55 and below. As you are aware, the entry age into the public service, the earliest entry age is 18 for those who are at the lowest level. And at the highest, it's 50 years. You can enter the public service at 50 years. Now that category, from entry level to 55 years, are going to join the Public Service Pension Fund scheme. These monies that are going to be put aside annually, monthly and then annually, are going to be invested so that they generate a return. And this return is what, at the end of one's employment, will be broken down into the commuted pension gratuity and the monthly pension. Studies have shown that this is a more sustainable pension scheme than the one where we have been entirely relying on the consolidated fund, that it's a direct annual budget for pensions and we're paid according to that. Many countries world over have since changed from that non-contributory scheme, and now it must be money generating money in order to achieve the sustainability that we want. As you are aware, the economy and world economies have various upheavals. All sorts of things come in. Like now we do have the Ebola scare, we had COVID. There are various events that happen that may change our returns, our revenue collections. But sustainability can only be achieved by investing our money. And that is why government has passed the Public Service Pension Fund Act 2025. Why is government reforming? One, to ensure timely and predictable pension payments, to reduce the long-term fiscal pressure on government, to improve transparency and accountability, to improve individual ownership of retirement savings. By this I mean that an individual will be able to log into their account and know how much money is there, how is it growing, how much are they saving. There's that element of ownership. Instead of what it has been, where you're simply waiting from your age of 18 or 23, you're waiting to clock 60.
And then you'll know at that time.
And then you know at that time.
So what we have running as NSSF, how we are able to access our accounts and know how much is deposited and how much is accumulated, is what the pension fund is also, the direction the pension fund is taking in terms of transparency and accountability.
Exactly.
Perfect.
It is quite similar to the NSSF. The only difference is that the NSSF is a provident fund. It pays a one-off. While the Public Service Pension Fund will pay the gratuity at 60 and then guarantee a monthly pension until you cease to exist. This, we believe, is going to secure pensions for future generations. Yes. The difference, of course, between a non-contributory and a contributory is that for contributory, it's even going to be professionally managed. There's going to be an investment policy in place. We're going to have regular actuarial studies. Actuarial studies are those studies that are determining how much money you need to generate in order to maintain the value of the pension and for how long you'll be able to pay. And those are the figures that are used to make the investment decisions. And this is going to support our timely payment.
There's something that we would like to make clear. Is it be on a voluntary basis or is it a mandatory basis?
Of course, it is in a way you could call it voluntary, but of course it's depending on the employment terms. Mm-hmm. Because there are those who are employed on contract. There are certain jobs that are contract. For example, a permanent secretary. That's a contract job. Could be an RDC, that's a contract job. So there, it's voluntary. But for those who are employed on the permanent and pensionable terms, it is compulsory.
Okay. So you've mentioned the permanent secretaries, you've mentioned RDCs. This applies also to RCs. What
Yes.
other public servants do we have that are on contract that will have to consider the voluntary element of being part of this pension fund?
Probably those who are in agencies. Agencies are, they are not parastatals, but they are agencies. For example, you could talk about a Uganda electricity transmission company. You could talk about Uganda Human Rights Commission, Law Reform Commission, Uganda Electricity Tribunal, those kind of institutions. They may opt to come in voluntarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to us about the benefits that our civil servants stand to gain under this new arrangement when it comes to it being compared to the current system.
One is a timely payment of their money. Two is following how much they are saving. There's more transparency in that they can track their money. Three is at the point where they decide they opt out of employment, they are guaranteed to go with their money, to go with their savings. And of course, the consistency and sustainability of this payment. Yes.
Okay. Now, this taking effect in July, the question is what happens to those that are already retired or those that are close to retirement? Do they get to also enjoy these benefits, or will their benefits and rights remain protected?
Those who are already in retirement continue along the old scheme, the non-contributory. Those left with only 5 years to retirement are not going to be included in this scheme, because the 5 years is not enough to have invested that money and generated enough to sustain their payments beyond this time.
Okay. All right. Now, whenever a large fund is created, people are worried about accountability and, tracking their money. But you've talked about a professional body that will come in to manage its fund. How will government ensure that people's money is safe? How will they protect the investments so that these investments are actually long-term worthy to contribute and grow up, the pension fund for our civil servants?
Yes, that's a very good concern. There is a strong governance system that the law has put in place. One, there is a board of trustees of eminent persons who are going to oversee the governance aspects. These have already been appointed by cabinet and are actually beginning their induction next week. There is the custodian. The custodian of the funds are banks, which will receive the money. Then there is the investor, the investment manager, who is separate from the custodian and is separate from the board of trustees. That is someone who only manages the investments. And then there is a CEO who oversees these operations. So there are proper checks and balances in between the various functions of the pension fund. So we do not expect a monopoly of decisions from one individual, which would be a recipe for malpractice. So the right checks and balances and the governance structure is in place. And there is also going to be annual financial statements delivered to the Board of Trustees and annual general meetings of members. Whether there are some who will attend physically, others will attend virtually, but they'll be able to know and question how their money is being managed. That's another very big advantage and a key indicator that the governance aspects have been taken care of with the right checks and balances. And of course, will be supervised by the Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority, UBRA.
Okay. On that note, as the implementation is being awaited in July 2026, what should public officers, human resource teams, as well as the payroll officers actually be doing now in order to prepare for the transition coming?
That is extremely important. How do we prepare for this? Records, records, and records. Records and information management is key to this process. Without having your records in their proper order, with accuracy, you can have issues. So the human resource officers and even the officers in government should be preparing for this by making sure their national identification number is the right one, all their data, appointment letters, date of entry, date of birth are all correct. Because the calculations for the pensions are going to be based on this. They should also be making sure that they have a regular check to see that their bank account numbers are accurately recorded. And the other is that the appointment letters, all the letters concerning their work life, are filed both in soft and hard copy. When I talk about soft copy, we have the human capital management system, which is the automated human resource management system that we are using as government, which has all these records. So on the self-service portal, one can log on using their IPS number and can be able to check their personal records, and where something is missing, is an inaccuracy, they correct it within this period of time.
Okay. I know that this is a difficult transition for our civil servants because the current scheme has been only government contributing to the pension, but now they also have to contribute. And that's a mindset change that must be dealt with as one, the trucks and supervisors over our civil servants. What's the word of encouragement that at the end of the day, this is still a good, and it's good for civil servants?
Is it good for civil servants? We have enhanced salaries for quite a number of civil servants today. And today, one of the issues that we have is that with the deduction of the 5%, the 5% is not a tax, it's which you're putting aside to contribute to your own pension. And yes, one thing that we look out for, that this money is going to be a form of investment which is taken for purpose of investment. So there should be no misgivings about it's going to smooth. There are no extra charge going to come on this, and there is no problem. Now, I want to briefly explain the difference between gratuity and pension. Because I've been using one after the other, talking about a gratuity and payment of a month pension. Gratuity is the compensation, there's some compensation that is given to one, that is 2/3 of entire pension, given in a lump sum, paid to you in one sitting. I call it a bulk payment, 2/3 of your pension. Then the rest is broken down, 1/3 is broken down into bits over your life. Over the rest of your life. And I want to say that if you have not been paid for 15 years, the beneficiary will put down either your next of kin or your beneficiary, because your next of kin may not be your beneficiary. Your beneficiary, that person whom you would like to benefit from your pension, will be paid. You choose who it is going to be. That's another deal that will be prepared now. That in the unlikely event of your demise, or the likely event, because that is
default setting.
Default setting.
We are all visitors here.
That person will benefit and get paid your money.
Okay. So again, to give a vote of confidence, because with the old scheme, so many people have come out to complain that they've not been receiving their pension money. So with a vote of confidence, how is this new pension fund going to ensure that truth or nail, people will go with them without to necessarily flow up and phone calls and go to office or.
The guarantee on the payment that you are growing with your pension. You are tracking and growing with your pension annually. So you see what's happening to it, how it is moving. You know, in this year, I started with X. In year 5, it's X times 5. You can see it. You have access to your own records and your account.
Okay. Finally, what message would you give to our civil servants right now, as they may have some anxiety, seeing that this transition is easy, because there's always we know here there. And so is your word of caution, of encouragement to our civil servants, and any other information would be very beneficial to people who are going to be benefiting from this fund?
My word of encouragement to civil servants is, please get prepared for this reform in our best interest, all of us. And all information that's taking place, make sure your records are organized and are accurate, and be confident that we are going to move with you all the way. It's not just going to be surprises, surprise and the other surprise. And that you're even going to have an opportunity of participating in the annual general meetings, which will mean that you'll be decision makers as to where and how your money is being invested and how it is growing. Let's keep our eyes and ears on, because we'll be regularly updating you and moving in this way. It is for the benefit of us all, and we are saying, let's grow money together for a secure future.
All right. Thank you so much, Catherine Bitarakwate, who's the Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Public Service, alluding to us and explaining to us the transition that government is taking with the new Public Service Pension Fund that is moving away from the one singular contributory now to a dual contributory way. As public servants will be contributing 5% and government will be contributing 10%. They've committed that this scheme this time round is going to be transparent and it's going to give you accountability that is first-hand, because you'll have your own account and you'll be able to track your own monies as you are growing as a servant, so that by the time of retirement you will get your gratuity, but then you also be getting that monthly money to help you enjoy the rest of your life. A good step in the right direction as far as human capital development is concerned and sustainability. Bring us to the end of this conversation. When we return from the break, we'll be having a sit down with the Shadow Minister for Information and Anti-Corruption, and that is Honorable Sheila Amanio. Reflections of the state of the nation